Alright, welcome back everybody. This is part 3 of making improvements stick, and this is going to be Platinum Edition. So we are watching these Platinum players now, and this is going to be, yes, as I said, game number 3 of the Platinum series. We also did Golds before this, and we have Diamonds coming up next here in just a tiny bit. So we are following, just kidding, VR Phenom, the Blue Terran. So yet again another TVZ, and it just seems that both the Z's and the T's are having a lot of trouble with this matchup, as that seems to be the trend so far of the series, or of today at least, of the Gold and Plat videos that I've received. We've already done 2 ZVTs, and now we are on to a TVZ, or we just had a TVZ. 2 ZVTs, 1 TVZ, and now this is going to be our second TVZ. So a lot of players struggling with that, and as we saw in the last game, make your stuff, just make sure you're making things. Macro, 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 macro. And that's why I made gold, because a lot of you will be sitting there and you're like, well, he would have been able to win that if he would have just been pushing ahead with the tanks and the Marines earlier, right? Like, because he had the worker lead, and he had, that stuff. So if he would have just started pushing together, or pushing faster and dropping in a couple places, that would have won him the game. That should have been goal number 1. I know some people think that. No, that's goal number 3, and the reason that is goal number 3 is because goal number 1 is you just need to macro so much better. Macro is 90% of this game. That's a made-up percentage, and it could be a little less. But it's a lot of this game, because hey, if let's say he was ahead 45 workers to 42, right? And it's like, oh, that's good because you got mules too, that puts you in a great position. What if you're ahead 75 workers to 40 drones, right? You have 75 SCVs and your opponent has 40 drones. Well, now all of a sudden you're in a amazing position. And then all of a sudden doing those little drops and things that are like, yeah, he could have won if he had just, done a little cute thing here, a little this here, blah, blah, blah. That's not the big thing to work on. That's not, because as you get better, other players are going to be able to stop that stuff more, and they're going to be better prepared for those things. Or as you get better, I should say, all of a sudden your opponent has 70 drones and you have 42 SCVs, and it doesn't matter what little dropping things you do, he's going to just straight out murder you, because he has so much more stuff. So one thing I'd like to note late on this right here, just something to think about with your timings. Right when you have that 100 gas, you want to be able to build that factory. Instead, it kind of took a little time. You had about 150 gas. So all those little seconds do add up, especially when you're trying to get out these Hellions for as fast of damage as possible. So it looks like you're going to be transitioning into Banshee play, possibly with a second gas right here. We'll have to see exactly. And a couple of Marines chilling. I'd be careful having them all the way out here. I'd say maybe right up here, just in case you need to back him up. In case he has, a decent amount of lings or something streaming on over. That's just me, though, personally. So get the switch, okay. And now we go ahead and throw this down. There you go. Okay, so nothing too bad. Just tighten the timings up a tiny bit, and not making any Hellions whatsoever right now. Right? This is because I think because you took this extra gas. Yeah, because you have a lot of gas right here, and a starport is not in production. So I'm not quite sure. You're going to want to look up this build. Are you going to switch this over for tank or something immediately? You're going to want to look up exactly what you're trying for here, because it seems like you're trying to hit up all these things of your... Wow, that's tough with Hellions. So it looks like you're trying to hit up all the various things that people do. Or Terrans do. They go for the the factory, and then they build the tech lab here, and they get a Banshee off of that, and then they get and there you go. And then they get they expand in the bunker, but it's all out of place. This tech lab came down way early. The reactor was, or the factory was late, and just everything seems a little bit off. So I definitely say go look up a build order. to help you out. And do you have any Marines? Yep, they're down there. And you've had these Hellions tucked away for a while here. I would say at least have these down to deny this creep. That's what you have these Hellions for. A lot of people think, oh, these are my drone-killing Hellions. No, the point of these Hellions is to deny map control from your opponent. So you want to kill off all lings at towers, you want to kill off all lings running around like that, you want to kill off all creep tumors, anything and everything that you can do to deny your opponent from getting map control so he can't see what's coming towards him, you know? If your opponent can sit right here with a ling and then he sees tank marine push out, then he can start pushing out to deal with that. He'll know what's going on. Alright, so good job clearing up creep there, but you gotta be active about it. You gotta make sure you're still checking up on that, if that's what you're going for. So now you're getting a Banshee. He knows you're getting a Banshee. So you can see he sees that totally. So he already has spores up. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. I would just say don't get cloak at this point if you are going to continue with the Banshees. And you're going for mech. Okay, nothing wrong with mech. But how are we doing in SCVs? 26 SCVs. Huh. That's going to be hurtful, right? So we'll see that when we get a little bit later. So a good benchmark to have, and I know you didn't 1x expand, so you're going to be a little bit behind in SCVs there, but if you are at 10 minutes, I'd say you want to have at least like 45 SCVs off of the expand that you took, if off a reactor Hellion expand. I'd say you want at least 45 SCVs at that point. You're at 32, and as you can see right here, once again, not making SCVs. Not making them, focusing on something else, my Banshees or something like that. And still not making SCVs. 10 minutes has already passed, we're still at 32 SCVs. So that right there is going to be a big thing for you as well. Also note, we're not even building anything out of our factories. Nothing is being made right now, and where's our attention? Our attention is back here on this Banshee. And we are just continuously sitting back here, microing this Banshee around. And it's tough to kind of think about, but I want you to think about it like this. If you're killing off a drone, right? You're sitting here with this Banshee microing and stuff, and you're picking off drones. If you're picking off drones and not making SCVs, then you're cutting your ability to get ahead in half right there. Because what's greater? Let's say I have 50 SCVs and you have 50 drones. If I can kill 25 of your drones and make 25 SCVs, well, now I'm up 75 to 25. If I can kill 25 of your drones and at the cost of making 25 SCVs of my own, well, now all of a sudden I'm not at such an advantage, because hey, if I would have just made those 25 SCVs instead, I could have been up 75 to your 50, and then I'd still be 25 workers ahead. The odds would be a little bit better for focusing the unit, but not much. So you really need to focus on doing everything back here first, you know, making sure you're taking care of everything at home, building out of these factories right here, getting the SCVs, which once again we're still missing, only at 37 SCVs. And that'll be huge for you. Now you can get a nice big roast as well. Okay. And hey, yum yum yum. Okay, so we still have to kill that. But hey, we did all that damage, right? We killed off 28 workers, and he is still 22 workers ahead of us. So by doing all that stuff, we're not helping ourselves at all if we aren't helping ourselves back home doing the things right here. Getting the SCVs out, getting my third faster, right? That you could have taken a third a while ago for sure in this game. So just little things like that. That'll be so helpful for you. I also recommend repairing these Hellions, just FYI. Small thing, though. Where's your Thors at? Thought you had Thors. Oh, they're in production, okay. Right, so number one, goal numero uno, making those SCVs. And this, I find this is the biggest goal for most players at these levels, right? And even going into plat, we're in plat now, and this is something that I'm telling bronze players and silver players. Hey, you know, make more SCVs, make more drones, make more workers. And drones can be a little harder because you have, you know, your larvae, you have to judge between the two. But there's no excuse once you get to this level for sitting there and without enough workers. You know, 47 workers at 15 minutes after only losing one. There's just no excuse for that. That's something that you can just clean up so much faster, and you will be totally fine. Like, you will, if you clean this one thing up, and I want you to just clean this up, just do this one thing for me. I mean, I'm going to give you 3 goals, but if you can really do this one thing by getting more SCVs, look, you're not building them now, there we go, just getting them constantly, like 100% of the time, building SCVs, except for when you're making an orbital. That's the only time you're allowed to not build SCVs. If you can just do that and then throw down the unit producing structures, you come back to me in a couple of weeks after doing that and just be like, I dare you to come back and be like, no, that didn't help me at all. I didn't start winning games. Because you will start winning games unless you're doing terrible somewhere else. Unless you're just somehow really blowing the game randomly somewhere else, you will win so many games if you just do that. So definitely something to think about. Okay, moving on up. Doop-a-doo-doo. It's good. We got our third base going. So way late, but you know, at least it's going. So as I was saying, goal number 1, SCVs. Goal number 2, I want you to, and this is going to be a strange goal, I want you to stop worrying about your opponent right now. You have this guy back here too. No. I want you to stop worrying about your opponent right now. And that's one of the strangest goals I've given in a long time. Right? Because normally I'm like, platinum, alright, now we're scouting, now we're checking things out, yada yada, now we're really doing this. But Terran is a safer macro race, and I want you to stop doing that stuff. So I want you to stop being so, you know, focused on this Banshee over here picking off drones. I want you to stop being so focused on the Hellions picking off creep. I don't want you to care what they are doing. I simply want you to just make a crap ton of structures, a crap ton of SCVs, and expansions, and supply depots. But you haven't been bad with supply. And if you can do all of that, you will be golden, my friend. You will straight up be golden. Ouch, he is really hurting himself here. So your opponent just suicided his entire army for a nothing trade. This would be a good time to push, by the way. If you are ever wondering when to push, probably after he kills his entire army for absolutely nothing. Just saying. So I would pack everything up right now and just move out. Like right now. You're 200, 200. He's 132. Move. Also make a 4th. You just won a big battle. Make another expansion. Okay, so need to be moving out badly. Do you see how easily you could win right now? But do you see where you're going to lose? When all of a sudden these are all broodlords. And you can't do anything about it. Because you sat here and you waited. So now you're going to start a 4th. That could have been a long time ago as well. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and speed up now because I've covered big things that I want to cover. SCVs. See, you're just burning time, burning time, burning time. All this time you've been burning minutes. He now has broodlords morphing. And his supply is risen. And, well, crap. Now we have something of a problem on our hands, right? So First off, I would not really recommend engaging this. I would recommend waiting till you got Thors, personally. I mean, Vikings, sorry, not Thors. So as you can see, now you're just losing everything. All of a sudden, you've lost 50 supply, he's lost no supply. It's lost, it's suddenly evened up, and that's, I mean, this is pretty much going to be the game here. You can still be making more Vikings. Do you have another starport out? No, we do not. There we are. They aren't building, though. You aren't using them. And he's going to start moving over. Careful. Fungals, bad. Ouch. Okay.
Add-on. Mineral field depleted.
Okay, so the game's pretty much over right at this point.
Our SCVs are
I think we can agree that. Yeah, so we're just going to quickly go over your goals once again, just as a final thing, a final end of game. Number 1, SCVs, make the SCVs, please. Number 2, do not scout, do not care about your opponent. And that is so strange, and you will have to go back and do that, but for right now you're trying to do too much, and it's killing your macro back home. Just make your unit producing structures, make your SCVs, make your supply depots, and build units. And just keep doing that non-stop. Non-stop making all these things, and you will be okay. You will be able to win a lot more games. And then number 3, I want you to attack when you max. If you're going for mech, especially. If you're going for mech play, when you hit that max point, or close to it, that 180 to 200, I want you to attack. And I want you to grab everything and go immediately. I don't want you to sit around and wait 3 minutes and then get SCVs and then have them sit here and then move out. That's when your opponent has Broodlords. I want you to just simply go, push, kill them, win, and that's going to be it. That should be good for you right there to win this game. Okay, so now it's just going to pick you off, yada yada. And that should be it. So, we are going to now move into game number 4 of Platinum Tuesdays. It's actually Wednesday now because I had to push it back, of course, but this is still Platinum Tuesdays edition. So we are moving into part number 4.